Okay guys, just another time warp. I'm putting the PCB board back in place. You gotta try to be careful. At first I left some of the wiring harnesses connected, but I recommend just disconnect all wiring harnesses except for the one going to the LCD. It's gonna make it a lot easier to replace the PCB into place because the wires are curled and twisted, and it was very hard for me to get this thing to lay flat back where it belonged. And then hooking up, all the wiring harnesses after you're complete is a lot easier. Alright, but just take your time. It was a little tight in there with the way the wires were put in by Turnigy, but if you take your time, you'll do alright, and it'll be just fine. Let me get a couple of screws on it before it decides to move. Okay, on the next time warp here, I'm refastening the PCB board with the 8 screws. Just remember that the 4 larger screws are a little bit fatter. They go on each corner on the perimeter of the PCB board, and then the smaller screws just finish off filling up the rest of the holes, and everything should be okay with that. Now what we need to do is plug everything back in. They like curled everything here to fit, so that's why I was having trouble getting it all back together. So in the video they tell you to take apart just a few of the harnesses, but in reality I think you're better off taking all of them off. I mean, they only go in one way, so they're not going to get mixed up. But I don't know why they kind of curly cue them like this from the factory. And so when you go to replace everything, everything's twisting and moving, and it doesn't want to go back into place. Make sure you push firmly on your connections, otherwise your plane, heli, or glider is going to be on the ground, because that's your whole control board. That's where everything happens. Alright. Now that we're back to the step here where your new wire, but what I want to do first, let's tip it, make sure we don't have any garbage, and try your buttons. Make sure you hear those little clicks. If you're not hearing that, you're not lined up right. Alright. Now, like I said, when I got it, the heat shrink tape was a little tight around where I gotta plug this in, and I probably should have cleaned it up before I started putting it in the radio, but I didn't. I probably should have. So you see this right here. I can't get the connector in there because it's a mess. Clean that before you even put this thing near the radio, because otherwise you're never going to get it off, or you're going to wrestle with it like me. Okay, so that was the second thing that was a pain, besides the foam, getting that removed. So this is like a dual plug now, this new connector you have here. The old existing connector has to connect into the back of this. Once you get that heat shrink cut out of the way. Alright, and now the new connector goes in the old spot. Just like that. Now we just got to make sure your battery takes up this area here. So I would assume we need to get this to fold up in this direction. Get it to fold up there so it's not in your way. Now here's the second, there's your back, and here's your connector you got to reconnect. Okay, looks like everything's pressed firmly in. Now we want to make sure, tip the radio up. Make sure there's nothing else in the way. Close it up. Okay. Now we have our 6 screws that we started with. Well, and this time I'm putting everything back together, the back cover. I just want to say that in Hobby King's video, it's like a, I don't know, 10-minute job, but I actually worked on this thing for approximately 45 minutes, just to let you know. Okay, that's our screws. Let me grab my battery. Like I said, I modded with the blue LiPo this time. Believe it or not, the Rhino from Hobby King fits a little bit nicer than this one. This one's a little tighter. But I wanted to try 2 different ones to see in relationship which one's going to be better than the other. Battery cover. Okay, there's that one. Like I said, show this again. Here's the one with the EL panel. Alright, it's got a green light to it, which I think the new one. Here we go. Cross your fingers. Make sure all the switches are back.
and this one's like a blue. Alright, so it seemed to work out. I gotta give it a probably out of 1 to 10, a 7 for being hard. It wasn't as easy as they show on the video, so this is me, and this is right on the fly. I just got it today and just installed it. But let me show you the difference between, just want to make sure my buttons work. Alright, the difference between the two, let me shut the light off on the camera. There is the Hobby King. And here is the EL panel. You have the EL panel from Hong Kong. This is about 20 bucks for the whole kit, plus you need some wire and solder and all that. This is the Hobby King one. I think it took a little bit longer than this one to do. Once you lay this out and figure out what you got to do, you don't have to fight with that foam. The EL panel will fit right in with the factory foam and everything. The one from Hobby King, you know, $4.99. Just takes time to get to you. I guess if after the first one here, now I know a couple of tricks. They go a little quicker, but be real careful on a PCB board. All that stuff is delicate in there. Make sure you hook up your wires correctly and press firmly, and just be careful with the LCD. You could crack it very easily. I don't know how easy it is to get parts for these, but I hope this helps someone out. This is your Hobby King $4.99 LED screen. It has no inverter or anything. It just plugs into the board. It's already pre-made to fit this unit. This one here, a little bit of modification, soldering some wires and finding the on-off position switch to make them work. But you make your choice. I think they both look pretty cool. And this is Cruise Roy, and I'm out of here.